Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Right then, we're all in, we're all ready, we're set. We're just waiting for the 8 o'clock kickoff. Well, I say kickoff, it's not football. But we are all here ready to go. Let's have a little look through the rest of the grid. Right, so some of the top guys are doing 120s, Pyro's doing 122. It's about low 20, high 20 into 21s. Okay. Evening Chaos. Okay, so there's at least one. We're just letting a couple of people join in. We're pretty much, I think we're pretty much almost at a full house now for this group, which is Group A. So we got 3 teams in this group. So just before we get into qualifying, I'm going to quickly run through, for those who have been living underneath a rock and do not understand how this runs. So, okay, it's not that time. Thank God it's not that time. Welcome to day 1 of Champions Cup. This is Group A, as we are just about to start qualifying. As you can see, Pyro in the bottom left saying starting soon. We are here on this very, very lovely Deep Forest Raceway track. So we're going to have about a 10-minute qualifying session before we go into the race for this evening. Let me just get Iggy's message up because he's got all the things on there that I need. Here's, so this is Group A, so we've got 4 teams in this one, sorry. We got team captains are Pyro, BX, Matty and CMP. 3 tier 1 drivers. I say 3 tier 1 drivers. Matty's, there's a good little drift from Cap there, going through the tunnel. Wisely comes into the pits after that as well. So we got Coca-Cola, we got 6T, we got Cosmopolitan, and we got Skechers, who are the 4 teams in this group today. So the format for today's race is going to be a 10-minute qualifying with 38 laps. The racing hard tyre must be used in the race for the 32 laps. Now the fuel load, they start at 37%, so these guys can't really go that deep into a stint that quick unless they want to come in, refuel and then go back out again. So the likely strategies for this race, you could do a 3 stop, so a soft hard hard or a soft hard soft, or for those optimistic drivers out there, you could do about a 5 or 6 stop, which is soft, 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 hard, basically hard at the end. So out these guys go for their qualifying laps, as Pyro's going to lead us out in the Coca-Cola liveried car. We then got BX in the 16. Where's the next car? Where is he? Then we got Matty, the other team captain, in the Cosmopolitan car. And finally, at the back, towards the back here, we got CMP in the Skechers car. So the average lap time I think we're going to be looking for is about a 120 to a 121 at this level. Let's just go a bit up front. Let's get a bit further forward. Stick probably with these two for now, and we'll check the rest of the grid as they come over the line. Everyone opening up that final corner, trying to get as much speed as possible, coming out onto the back straight. Cat bringing up the rear at the moment. So all drivers are now onto their flying hot laps. BX could be looking at an early advantage because he's got the slipstream from Pyro. He's going to sit in the tow for as long as humanly possible, but it's going to hamper him through this twisty section. So let's see what lap times these guys can do. Is BX going to give him a push? BX is going to give Pyro a little bit of a push coming down this back straight. Is there going to be an attack into the final corner? It wouldn't be wise to attack into the final corner. BX does back off just a little bit, lifts a little bit early, goes wide on the entry, doesn't quite hit the apex. That might cost him a little bit of time, but he's probably going to gain it back as we come charging down the hill. Solid lap from BX in 1:19.5. We've got 1:19.3. Let's let all the cars go through the grid at the moment. There we go. So there's always a little bit of a moment as we're coming into the tunnel. That's going to ruin that lap for Badabigs, excuse me, who comes in and then comes back straight back out. So we got Badabig in first with the first captain of 6T, excuse me, of BX in second. We then got Skechers in third with Zico in fourth. So we've got, at the moment, there is a different team on each position of the top 4. Bada big, bada boom. Yes, bada big, bada boom. Bada big had a bada boom. We then got Astro in 5th. So at the moment it's slight advantage to Coca-Cola, with 2 of their cars in the top 5. Bex is going to come in as we're coming up to the 4-minute mark of this qualifying session. Pyro is the other driver. Oh, never mind. Astro takes the fastest lap at the moment, but we're still not quite on the final runs yet. So yeah, it's still slight advantage to Coca-Cola in the top 5 at the moment. We got Matty down in 6th with Cosmopolitan. We then got Keelan, sorry, in 7th with Skechers, and then we've got this, I believe it's the final Coca-Cola driver in 8th. Let me just double check. It is the final Coca-Cola. Has Scotty got the right livery on? Hang on, let me check. I need to check what team Scotty's in. So I do have that information with me. Scotty. Where are you, Scotty? I'll figure it out, I'll find it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll find it. We'll sort it out in a bit. We'll stay up here with Astro. So Pyro, excuse me, giving his teammate and fellow driver a nice little toe going through the middle. Just about misses the wall on the exit coming out of the bridge. The tunnel, excuse me, as he's got picked up a half-second penalty, so that's going to ruin that lap. There's no one really. I think it's BX behind him. It is BX behind him, so it's going to push him into the back of BX. So we've got Zico, the Coca-Cola driver, in 5th. We've got CMP, the captain of Skechers, in 4th. We've got BX, captain of 6T, who lights up the rear end, in 3rd. We've got Bladderbig, who's given his captain, Matty, a toe going down the back straight, in 2nd. And then we've got Astro currently still in 1st position at the moment with 3 minutes to go for qualifying. Let's go back to these two. Let's see what Matt can do with the big toe going down the back straight. It's a very good run. It's going to be a very, very good run. So they're going to go out for another lap. So that was an out lap there for Matty. Let's see what they can do for this lap. We're going to follow these guys around for a lap. The rear of Matty's car is just getting a little bit loose. Bladderbig just kicking up a little bit of dirt before going into the first of the 2 tunnels. Now coming out of the 2 tunnels. That might just go away. Matty might have just gone away with that. We will see. He has just got away with that. His right tyres nearly touched the white line on the exit of the 2nd tunnel as we come down the 3rd tunnel. Going down the back straight. This is going to be where a lot of speed and a lot of time will be made up as he's 0.2 of a second down on his best lap at the moment. He's tried. He had a little look. I think he just wanted a little bit of space, but I think he also wants the toe going down the down the main straight. Excuse me. As Matty gives his teammate a push forward, is this going to be enough? No, it's not going to be enough to improve, as he's got one more lap open to him. So everyone going over the start-finish line now, this is going to be their last lap. Anyone ahead of these guys, they might have one more. Let's go further forward. Pyro stayed out the entire time. He's now improved by 0.2. He's dropped his teammate Astro from his penalty previous couple of laps. Pyro does get the car to stop, doesn't quite get the car to rotate what he wants. keeps it very tight. Is the quickest line is to keep it quite tight, and then let it run. Just come out over the hill. He does improve, but not position-wise. His time does improve. He's got time for one more lap. Let's go a bit. Zico pulls over to let Bandit go through, as he now starts to build the momentum going down the hill. SBX and Badabig comes into the pits. That's, oh no, Zico doesn't make it through, so that's Zico done for the session. Can Astro improve? Matty goes up to 5th position at the moment. Will come through the grid in just a moment. Kellen for sketches, can he improve? And Pyro's 0.4 of a second down. That's him pretty much done. Goes back, can he improve as well? Let's go a bit further forward to these two for a moment. So we come through the final corner for the last time. Astro's getting a large toe. No improvement there for Pyro. We're going to go a bit further down, get out the final couple of people. Right, no improvement for Keelan. Can goes back get an improvement? No. So there's our grid. We got Astro P1, BX P2, Badabig P3, Zico P4, and Matty P5. So it's advantage Coca-Cola at the moment, but we will have at least one member from each team in the top 5. We then got CMP. Sorry, no. CMP is the first Skechers driver in P6. We then got Keelan in 7th, Pyro in 8th. I believe it's Captain Eli who's changed his name to Badabonka Donk, excuse me, into 9th. We then got Scotty in 10th, Goose back in 11th, and we got Bendit in 12th at the moment. So there is our grid. What happened to Zico? He's P4. Look, come on, Mohammed. Yep, you are. There you are. You may be at the back of the grid, but you're on TV. You made it. Well done. So, may I just remind you guys, whilst we are waiting for something, I don't know what we're waiting for. So, whilst we are waiting for the server and for GT7 to actually decide what it wants to do, let's go through the rules for this race. So it's a 38 lap race. It's only the softs and the hards available to all of the drivers, and they have to use the hard tyre, and they start with 37% of fuel in their cars. Scotty is with Sikty, I believe, because there's only 2 orange cars and there should be 3. Now, do I have any predictions for this race? Taking in the sights of the forest. And pace is good, but we will see. Yeah, a lot can happen. Knowing Pyro's reputation, a lot can happen. I'm going to leave that there because we'll be starting very, very shortly. I think the GT500 will win. No, I don't think it will. I can't see the GT500 winning. There's a lot. The GTR's got a lot of power down the straights, as we will hit spectate straight away. What about Pyro's reputation? I think Pyro's reputation stands enough, but we'll come back to that as we got 5 red lights. The revs have been built by everybody, and away we go. Who gets a good start? BX gets quite a good start, so does Vanderbig in the background. Astro's going to try and hold on to first, but BX has been shown the door that's been left wide open by Astro, as we've got a bit of contact further back. Vanderbig tries to go the inside of Astro. Astro pushed out onto the Astro turf, but holds second position at the moment. We got Zico in 4th, remains in 4th, CMP now in 5th, Matty dropped down to 6th, we got Keelan still in 7th, Pyro still in 8th, we got Badabonk in 9th, Scotty in 10th, Goesback in 11th, so not much has changed further back from P7. Matty under pressure from Keelan at the moment as he goes a little bit wide, touches the grass, so does Keelan behind him, and seems like everybody else too. Let's go a little bit further forward. Who gets a good run? We're going to go further forward. Astro out just about on the edge of the slipstream from BX. Badabik, can he make a move into the hairpin? No. Does anyone look for a move coming into the pair hairpin? Scotty has to defend from Goesback, who goes very, very deep into the hairpin. Has to get the car stopped so he doesn't kill anybody on the exit. Bendit capitalises and gets up into P11. His mum is definitely going to be happy with that because he's now not last. So great job to Bendit. Going further forward, Scotty's opening up that gap. A bit further forward from that, Keelan is trying to defend from Pyro. Pyro's trying to go around the outside of Keelan for P7. Room has been left on the exit. Pyro gets a good run as we come up the hill through turn 2, 3 and 4. That's a little bit of contact. Pyro has to slot in behind, but this is going to allow Badabonk to potentially have a little sniff for P8, and never mind, he's got a half-second penalty. We'll stay here with Pyro just for another couple of corners. He's lost a little bit of time to Keelan ahead of him. He gets a helpful little push from the back, but that's not going to make much of a difference as we're now going on to the back straight again. Badabonk's going to lose quite a bit of time. He's probably going to drop to the back of the grid for this because the grid's still quite close. Through goes Scotty. No, he's not going to drop to the back of the grid because it's not that long of a penalty. He's going to lose one position. Let's go a bit further forward. BX is doing BX things and starting to open just a little bit of a gap to Astro. So BX, Astro, Badabig, Zico, CMP, top 5 all on soft tyres. These guys want to open up a bit more of a gap to the rest of the field. Is there anyone on the hards? I think everyone's on the softs. Everyone is on the softs. So no one opting to go to the hards. Everyone's staying kind of same strategies at the moment. So we will see. Something's happened to Goesback as he's dropped right off the back of this grid, right off the back of the pack as well. So he's got 10.7, about 10-second gap to P1. Anyone having a little shake? No, they're all quite evenly spaced at the moment. They're all quite evenly paced. I think it's kind of a bit of a slipstream train at the moment. In places and in patches. Pyro's lost the slipstream to the back of Keelan. And then Scotty has got the slipstream behind him. Going a bit further forward. Keelan is very much in the chase for Matty for P6. CMP now starting to catch up to the back of Zico too. So we're going to stay with a couple of groups. Keep an eye on my mini-map for anybody off position. A bit further forward again. Astro starting to close in a little bit on BX, but BX doesn't get that much of a great exit from the looks of the telemetry in the top left, so Astro's going to start closing in. Not going to be quite in the slipstream distance. It's going to be close though. Bonk not quite able to catch up and close that gap. Bandit just dropping off the back of P10 at the moment. Still maintaining a gap to Gusbank, but Gusbank is starting to close in on Bandit. And let's go a bit further forward again. Stay here with Keelan as Keelan puts a bit of pressure on Matty. Matty has to go defensive to the inside. Keelan opens up the corner. Can he get a good enough exit? He does get a good drive going up the hill, but it's not going to be enough to make any sort of moves to get alongside the captain of Cosmopolitan. Excuse me, I keep forgetting the team names. So if you're over ambitious or want to try something a little bit different, throw a curveball. Anyone sort of like P8, P9 backwards could potentially try the 4 or 5 stop strategy of doing about 7 or 8 laps, 4 times 8 softs, and then going on to the hards for 6 laps. That could be, it's more of an aggressive strategy, but it's open, it's there. Or you could do the soft, hard, soft. None of the drivers have started on the hard, so you can't even do the hard, soft, soft. So there's 2 types of strategies open at the moment to everyone. We're going to stay on board with Keelan, the Skechers driver. Does he make a move into T1 this time? No, he doesn't, but we're going to go further forward as action is now happening into turn 1. We're going to come on board with Zico. We're going to stay back here so we can see all 3 of these drivers. Astro has pulled BX back in. He's managed to reel in a little bit, but Bada Big is all over the back of Astro. None of these drivers can really afford to make a mistake as Astro goes a little bit wide. Bada Big tries to stick his nose up the inside, not able to this time. CMP is very much with this group as well, so the top 5 are glued together. They're about 1.5 seconds apart. BX has managed to open up and break the toe. Astro's had to go defensive towards the inside. Now he comes back onto the racing line to the outside. Badabig doesn't try and make a move. CMP gets close to the back of Zico, but not able to, or not going to make a little move into the hairpin. A bit further back, Matty still holding off Keelan at the moment. Zico in the slipstream of the Cosmopolitan driver of Bada Big. Can Zico catch up? He did a little bit of a lift going into turn 1, trying to maybe fuel save just a little bit, trying to extend. Bada Big just like sneaks his nose up on the inside, just shows his lights. Astro not phased. Now just looking at the tyre wear of these drivers, BX definitely has the best wear at the moment of the top 5 by a country mile. All of these guys are now starting to flash red in their fuel gauges, so they've got about another lap to a lap and a half. Matty's slowly starting to catch up to the back of CMP, so this is potentially going to be a 7-car train very, very shortly. Going a little bit further than that, Pyro managing to open up that gap to Scotty just a little bit. Badabunk just dropping off the back, but we're going to go a bit further forward. We're going to stay with this top group at the moment who are looped together. As Keelan has a little bit of a, I believe it was Keelan. Yeah, it was Keelan, had a little bit of a moment coming out, and Matty comes in and so does the Badabunk. So 2 of the top 5 drivers have come in on the end of lap 7, start of lap 8. So can these guys undercut any of these guys? So we've got 2 Coca-Cola drivers in second and third. We've got 60 driver BX in first at the moment, and we've got CMP in fourth with Keelan in fifth. We've got Pyro in sixth as well, so the advantage Coca-Cola at the moment. Astro and Zico, can these two work together to try and close that gap to BX down just a little bit? BX gets a really good exit coming out onto this back straight. Astro doesn't quite get good as an exit. Here comes Zico. Is he going to play a team game, or is he a bit too far away? He's a bit too far away. Now whilst these guys going through, Matty goes out onto the softs, only puts a little bit of fuel in, so does Bada Big. So both these two on the same strategy. They put pretty much the same amount of fuel in. Zico carries on, BX, Astro, CMP, Keelan, Pyro. Pretty much everybody else comes into the pits, apart from Zico. Zico's going to try and extend. So Bada Big potentially could be net P1. Let's see how many drivers can Bada Big undercut. Them all. So does Matty. The undercut is very, very strong here. So BX comes out in P4. We've then got Cap, who comes out in P5, who's managed to do a massive undercut. Astro comes out on the hards with a full tank of fuel. So does CMP. So does Keelan. So does Pyro. So does Scotty. And so does Bendit as well. He comes out on the hards. So these guys are opting to do their hard tyres now and then do softs at the end. Let's go a bit further forward. Let's stay on board with BX at the moment, because bear in mind Zico, who may be at the end of the straight, he's got 17-second gap. He's still got a pit. He has to pit this lap. So it looks like 6T and Cosmopolitan are looking at more of an aggressive strategy, doing the soft potentially to the hards, whereas Coca-Cola and Skechers are looking at doing their hard stint now. So two teams doing very, very similar strategies. CMP has a little bit of a moment coming out of the hairpin, so it's going to lose a little bit of time to the back of Astro. Where does Zico come out? Does he come out with his teammates? He comes out just ahead of his teammate at the moment. His teammate may have the momentum, but Zico is ahead. He's gone onto the hard tyres as well. So Team Coca-Cola doing the same strategy as Team Skechers. We're going to go a bit further forward though. BX all over the back of Matty. Is BX going to have a little look into the back straight, or is he going to know? He's probably going to save it for the hairpin actually. Let's jump on board. Just watching that gap come down and down and down. We're now into 1/10 of a second. Is he going to go for a lunge? No, he's opting to stay behind. He's very much opting to stay behind at the moment. Now this could be a bonus for fuel economy, but it's going to cost him a little bit more on the tyres. Let's go a bit further back. We're definitely going to go further back. CMP and Astro are side by side as we're coming down the back, coming down the hill, coming onto the main front straight. We got Keelan behind as well. Pyro is nowhere near the back of his teammate to give him a help. CMP gets a push from his teammate. Astro now slips into the slipstream, cuts off Keelan. Astro not able to make a lunge up the inside. CMP covers it off very nicely, so Astro now drops down to 7. CMP goes up to 6. Pyro starting to close up on the back of this group just a little bit, as Keelan has a little bit of a sideways moment. very much a sideways moment, lighting up the hard tyres, trying to keep up with the back of these two. Keelan uses all the curb and a little bit extra, gets a great run on the back of Astro, swings out to try and make a little bit of a move. Astro gives him a little bit of space. Astro wants to get back into the slipstream of Keelan, CMP, excuse me. Keelan not able to make a move into the hairpin. Astro goes very late on the brakes, manages to get the car stopped and has a little bit of a spin at the moment, and nearly spins the car out. So through goes Keelan, down goes Astro, and through goes Pyro as well. So Astro has a massive moment coming out of the hairpin. That is giving the Skechers team a big boost, which is what they need at the moment. Well, I'll say need. It's what they're looking for at the moment to go and start chasing down Zico. Let's go a bit further forward to the soft tyre runners. Let's come and rejoin BX as he's chasing down Matty, who's just about holding on to the back of Badabig, his fellow teammate. So these guys came in the end of 7. So probably about lap 15, lap 16, I should imagine. BX is very close now. He's given Matty a little bit of a push. He's not wanting to attack into the hairpin. If he can help it. Interesting. I wonder if this is a bit of strategy here from BX. Whilst these guys are going into turn 1, let's just check on the rest of the field. Badabunk in P4 at the moment, on the same strategy as his teammates in P1 and P2. Zico is the first Coca-Cola car, 7 seconds behind the top 4 at the moment, just about holding off CMP, who's in 6th, Keelan's in 7th, Pyro's in 8th, Astro's in 9th after making a slight mistake coming out of the hairpin. We then got Scotty in 10th, Vendit in 11th, and Gusbach in 12th, bringing up the rear. These two are doing the same strategies as their teammates near the front of the grid. But we're going to stay here. We're very much going to stay here. Matty, I believe, has made a slight mistake over that lap. We're going to stay here with BX. BX is pushing Matty forward. Matty goes very, very late on the brakes and goes very, very deep into the hairpin. Is able to stop the car and get the car to rotate, keeps the position. Matty's lost the slipstream from Badabig though, so this might cost him a little bit. But he is also red on the fuel tank, whereas Badabig and BX are still quite healthy on their fuel. So Matty's going to have to come in the next lap or two and then go onto the hard tyres and try and get to the end. He'll probably be able to get to the end on that fuel tank. And stay with these guys just for another couple of corners. Very important corner, very important you get it right. And BX did get it right as we come through the second to last tunnel. That gap is now closing. Is he going to still stay behind? Or is he going to attack this time? Because he's out of slipstream. He doesn't, he stays behind again. BX playing the very conservative game at the moment, not really committing to an overtake. Now, what does Matty do? Bendit comes in. Benderbig, excuse me, comes in as well. So, BX is going to take the lead. Bonkadonk is going to stay going. So, the Cosmopolitan driver now in P2 is going to stay going. Zico obviously going to keep going. So CMP, so is Keelan. So is Pyro. Pyro's massively dropping off the back of Keelan, keeping Astro with him at the moment. These guys are playing a slightly longer game. out comes Bada Big. He comes out on the hard tyres, and that's it for Bada Big. It's now race to the end. Now Matty comes out a little bit behind Astro, about 2.5 seconds, maybe 3 seconds behind, as he's got Scotty going to be all over the back of him very, very shortly. Used to the hard tyres by this point, whereas Matty's been on the softs for 2 stints. And was also slightly lighter than Matty. Let's go a little bit further back to these two near the back of the grid. Goes back, gets a little bit out of shape, goes a little bit wide, understeers a little bit in the slipstream of Bendit as we come around the final corner. No, one of the most important corners, excuse me, on this circuit. What's tyre wear set to? I believe it's 6 times. It is 6 times. So, for those who have missed it, and a little bit of conversation that I can have, as BX has got a 10-second head start effectively, and it's got maybe about another lap of fuel or so. So is Badadonka. So we've got 6 times tyre wear. However, all the drivers must run the hard tyres at one point in their race. So Zico, CMP, Keelan, Pyro and Astro have all decided to do a hard stint in the middle. We're going to stay around here. We'll stay around about the Pyro Astro area. They are pulled away from Massey. Quite a bit, a little bit actually. So yeah, so they've all got to run hard tyres at some point in this race. The strategies are soft, hard, soft, or soft, soft, hard, or if you're feeling extremely adventurous and want to push the limits a little bit more, as Badadonka comes into the pits. So he's probably going to come out around about Matty, I reckon, or Scotty. And then yeah, if you're feeling very adventurous, you could do 4 softs and then a hard, I believe. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 softs and a hard. That's if you're feeling very adventurous. Scotty, yeah, Scotty's going to get past, and just about going to get past as he swoops across in front of Badonka, who's coming out onto the softs. So Badonka is going for the adventurous strategy, or opportunistic, as Iggy described it to me earlier. So Badonka has gone on to the softs. This will definitely spice some things up. So he's going to have quite, as Scotty gets himself another half-second penalty. Badonka doesn't go for the move, but Scotty does go very wide. And they both have a moment that it's like simulated dancing, these two. Badonka going to get this move easy done, because here comes the stop line. There it goes, the stop line. So Badonka is going to get the move well and truly done. Now it's time to hunt down his teammate, who might let him pass straight away. Astro still behind Pyro at the moment. Now, unlike Pyro, who said during the charity race event earlier on in the year, when it was like, oh, what's Comad doing, letting people pass near the start of the race, as Bada Big gets himself a half-second penalty for track limits, I'm going to assume, switching my brain on, that the reason why Astro has not gone past Pyro, who's now got half-second penalty, who will get past Pyro, is because of fuel. And I reckon Astro wants to fuel save a little bit and use the slipstream of Pyro to keep as much fuel in the tank, so when he stops for the final time, he doesn't have to put as much in. That's what I'm guessing. And I reckon BX was in a very, very similar position. Now, Bada Big, yes, he has half-second penalty. He's starting to close up to the back of Keelan, but that's not going to matter anymore. Astro's going to push Pyro all the way to the penalty line, and then he's probably going to go zipping straight through. There he goes. He might have enough momentum to get catch up to the back. About a big no. Not quite enough momentum. Pyro now going to be under pressure from Matty. Both on the same tyres. Pyro's tyres are significantly worse than Matty's. So let's see what happens as we come down, start, finish straight. Matty dives to the inside. Pyro doesn't defend. Matty breaks a little bit later. Does he go deep? He goes a little bit deep. Pyro manages to get the second part of the apex and the switchback. Can't quite get the power down without going into the back of Matty. Has to concede the position and loses out to Matty, who's now on P6. Although Pyro's not quite done yet, he's trying to have a little bit of a look. Nearly loses the car as he comes into the tunnel, so not this time around. He's got to be a little bit careful because here comes Badonkadonk on his soft tyres. I say again, soft. As he gets a great corner speed and great exits. Through goes Badonkadonk, down goes Pyro. Now if these guys are all communicating on a party, this will certainly be told to his party mates that Badonkadonks probably on a very quick tyre. Pyro has a look at the inside, gets his nose up the inside, but Badonkadonk gives him the space, but ultimately does fall back down. So Pyro now back down to 8th position. We then got BX who's come out in 9th. He's on the hard tyres at the moment. He has just made his stop. So this is going to be BX to the end as well. Now going a bit further forward, Matty is caught up, catching up to the back of Astro as Badonkadonk lights up the rear and nearly loses it in turn 1. So let's go through the grid very, very quickly. So Zico for Coca-Cola takes a 5-second lead over CMP, who's in second for Skechers at the moment. Both these two have to make another stop, but they will be stopping onto the softs. Keelan's in third, again who has to make another stop. Badovic in fourth, who's the first Cosmopolitan driver. Then they got Astro in fifth, Matty in sixth, Badonkadonk in seventh, Pyro in eighth, BX in ninth, and he's the first 6T driver on in this train, I believe. We then got Scotty behind him, his teammate in 10th. We then got Gus back in 11th, with Bendit now back down to 12th position. Let's stick around here. Let's stick around Matty because this is going to be good. Coming down into turn 1, Astro defends to the middle. Matty goes to very, very far to the left. Astro does give him some space, keeps his line straight as Matty does go very, very late on the brakes and makes a brilliant block pass on Astro. Astro slots back in behind for 6th, but now Badonkadonk, excuse me, who's in 7th, who's got caught right up to the back of these two and is on the soft tyres. So again, if these guys are talking, Matty might be starting to back Astro up into Badonkadonk. Good corner speed by the Cosmopolitan driver, does catch up to the back of Astro. Astro still just about has slipstream from Matty ahead, but Badonkadonk does come out. Matty does not help his teammate out with the slip. It gives Astro just enough of car length ahead to go break into the hairpin and keep 6th as Badonkadonk lights up the rear, just about able to keep it on the track. Astro gets a great exit coming out of the hairpin. Good run down the hill, now good run up the hill. Matty doesn't really offer much of a defence, does come across a little bit. Astro comes across to Matty. Matty opens up the corner, but Astro goes into turn 1 up the inside, does get the move done, goes a little bit wide on the second half of the corner, but doesn't matter. He's got the move back done and passed again. Yes, this might be costing the Cosmopolitan drivers just a little bit, getting scrappy on lap 22 of 38. Whilst you've got a soft tyre driver coming through, it might make a bit more sense just to let him go a bit further back. BX is starting to catch up to the back of Pyro, but we're going to come back to that in just a moment. Oh, Matty has a little bit of a moment, but Donkadonk has to go and take evasive actions and slams it into the wall. Both drivers don't get any damage, but Donkadonk gets a half-second penalty for that, so that's definitely going to cost these two drivers a little bit of extra time. But now it's going to be Astro versus Badonkadonk. Astro does not have the toe from anyone else. Badonkadonk has got the soft tyres, but they're starting to perish. They're starting to go away. It's starting to go potentially the way of the hard tyres. Astro sticks to the left-hand side of the circuit, but Badonkadonk is now forced to the outside. Now can't switch to the inside. Astro knows this is going to start pinching him out to the outside. Badonkadonk slightly out brakes Astro. Astro holds the inside line. Can Badonkadonk hold it around the outside as they're side by side coming out of turn 1? As we're going up the hill into 2, through into 3, and through goes Badonkadonk, who now has the inside line and just about holds ahead, but he's got that half-second penalty, which is going to make him lose all of that work he's just done, as he goes a little bit wide through the second sequence of the right-handers, as Matty has a little bit of a moment coming out of the tunnel. Astro trying to stick as close to the back of Badonkadonk as he can. Astro knows he's got that half-second penalty. He's just outside slipstream range at the moment. That's not really going to matter too much, as there goes the penalty. Here comes the slipstream and the overspeed. Badonkadonk holds the inside line. Through goes Astro. Badonkadonk strikes back straight away, sends it up the inside. Can Matty try and capitalise as there's contact at the edge of the hairpin, the exit of the hairpin, excuse me. So round goes Astro, through goes BX, through goes Pyro. Pyro's now catching up to the back of this group as well. So unfortunate for Astro. Matty goes right to the defensive, goes all the way over to the pit wall, forces Pyro around the outside. Can Pyro hold it around the outside as Matty sticks to the inside? Pyro gets really good driving traction coming out of turn 1, swoops across, slams the door very firmly shut in Matty's face. As we come through 2 and 3, Matty sliding, just about keeping the car on the track. BX is struggling to catch up to the back of this group. He might be managing his tyres just a little bit. Now Zico's still in the lead at the moment with CMP in second and Badabig in third. We're going to come and do a quick grid check in just a moment. It's coming out in one of the most important corners of this circuit. Pyro is not quick enough. Matty has got a very good run, gives Pyro a little bit of a bump. We're now lap 24 of 38, so we've got 12 laps to go. So it's now going to start getting a little bit scrappy for positions. Matty goes very late on the brakes, going into the hairpin. Pyro brakes a little bit earlier, gets a good corner speed and corner momentum, and doesn't quite get the traction as Matty just about out battles him for traction. In comes Badonkadonk on the soft tyres, so he might do one more sets on the softs and then go to the hards, but we will have to see as Matty goes defensive on the inside. Pyro is now back to the outside as we're going to go to the cinematic camera this time around. Round the outside, Pyro cannot hold it around there this time. Matty still in 5th at the moment. Pyro is not done. As we come through the S section, Pyro has to back off just a little bit, loses a little bit too much grip. Both these drivers are really burning through their tyres. Pyro is burning through a lot more tyre than Matty. Still got to make this tyre last for another 5 laps yet at least. But here comes BX. BX is good to go to the end on these tyres quite comfortably. He's now starting to close in the back of these two. Now, whilst... Oh, sorry, I thought Pyro had a little bit of a moment. It looked like he did, but we're going to go a bit further forward. We're going to check on the rest of the grid. Zico in first amount with a just shy of a 7-second lead, with CMP in second, Badabig in third, Keelan in fourth, Matty fifth, Pyro in sixth, BX with a half-second penalty in seventh. That's not going to help him at all. Scotty's in eighth, Astro's in ninth after having that contact at the hairpin a couple of laps ago. We then got Badonkanok, who comes out onto the hards. That's him done in the pit lane till the end of the race, now in 10th. We then got Gooseback in 11th. Got Wait One, and we got Bendit in 12th. At the moment, let's come back and find us a little bit of action. It's probably going to be about here, I reckon. It's probably not going to be for too much longer. So BX is in a very good spot at the moment. BX is in a very, very good spot to potentially take first or second in a lap or two time. He's 17 seconds behind Zico. Zico's slowly opening that gap up a little bit. It's going to open up a little bit more because of the penalty from BX, but BX has got a very, very good exit compared to Pyro. There it goes to penalty line. Now Pyro's lost the back of Matty. He's dropped 1.5 seconds over the previous lap to Matty. Yeah, so the tyre wear is 6 times, if I didn't mention. Let's go back a couple of cars. Let's see what these two get up to. So Gooseback's tyres aren't looking too healthy, whereas Bendit's tyres are looking a lot more healthy. Bendit can be a little bit more aggressive in these final stages of this stint. We're probably going to stay here for a little bit because these are the closest two on track at the moment. Gooseback gets a very good exit coming out of the hairpin. As we come down the hill though, this might swing back to Bendit a little bit as Gooseback comes in. Let's go a bit further forward as BX has already caught up to the back of Pyro and got back through and past him. BX has got him past in the tunnel, which went straight up the inside, so down goes Pyro, his tyres, and he's got damage. That's not going to help him at all. Now, I think damage is set to the normal Monday League race, but we will find out. We're going to stay on board with Pyro, because I just want to watch this damage and see if it does repair itself. Or if it does repair itself. So it is like the Monday normal leagues. So BX has caught up to the back of Pyro. BX is now starting to fire up those hards for the final 11 laps of this race. He's already opened nearly a second to Pyro in a few corners. Let's go a bit further forward. Matty's the captain of the Cosmopolitan team, doing very well at the moment, 5th position. Still got one more stop to go. Keelan in 4th. His tyres aren't looking too great. If he can, he's got to try and extend his tyres for another lap or 2 at least. We then got Big in 3rd. Very, very healthy looking tyres. We got CMP, the captain for the Skechers team, in 2nd at the moment. 7 seconds behind Zico, so Zico is slowly opening up that gap, and Zico's tyres are looking a little bit better, and he's got a little bit more fuel than CMP, who's just gone into the red, whereas Zico's not quite in the red yet. So let's go a bit further back. Like I said, and I'm going to say it again, BX is in a fantastic spot. 17.2 seconds back from Zico, but that gap has come down a little bit. Pyro kicking up a little bit of grass. Not quite what Moo was doing at Alsace Village, but Moo is a very special case which we have to make some exceptions for occasionally. Astro in 9th at the moment, slowly starting to reel in Scotty as we start lap 29, so a lot of the hard runners who have been going since about lap 8-ish I'm expecting to come in this lap. But Donkanok in 10th has opened a huge gap to Bendit, who's in 11th at the moment, who's got a 17-second gap to Gooseback, who's come out onto the hards, and that's it. That's Gooseback's, all Gooseback stops to the end. That gap from Zico to CMP has opened up by about 0.3 of a second on this lap alone, so it's now 17.5 compared to 17.2 on the previous lap. CMP's definitely going to have to stop this lap regardless because of his fuel situation. Zico extends, he's going to go one more, he feels like he can go one more. Surely you come into pit, yeah. CMP does come into pit, Bada Big stays out, he's got enough fuel to go another few laps. So CMP's the first one to really come in. Can he get the undercut on Zico? Pyro's coming in as well. He's going to potentially look at trying to undercut Matty, or even trying to close the gap to Matty. Astro stays out. Astro feels like he can do a little bit more on this tyre. He's definitely have to come in the next lap though. Astro does just about clear CMP. So what's the gap to the back? Baladunk, excuse me. Can he get Pyro? Let's jump on board. He does clear Pyro, but Pyro's on the soft tyres, so this is a reverse of what happened a few laps ago. Scotty's come out behind Pyro. Oh, we got Ben who just about makes it through turn 1. Gusbank's taken about a second out of him that previous lap, so we're going to stay here for a moment. So 8 laps to go. These soft tyres should be able to do 8 laps as Zico comes in, so we're going to go a bit further forward just to keep an eye out on things. Where's BX? BX is just coming out the final corner now. Let's jump back to Pyro just for a moment as we've got the hairpin coming up. Pyro in the slipstream going through the final tunnel. Softs versus hard, very fresh softs versus hot. So a couple of lap old hards as Pyro goes straight up the inside. Baladunk pretty much knows his fight that he's gonna lose. So Pyro now goes up into 8th. Astro comes in, Matty comes in, Keelan comes in. Through goes CMP. Zico comes out behind BX on the softs, and there's only a 2-second gap. Zico is now in hunt mode. Very much in hunt mode. He can CP1. This is going to be a very, very good for Coca-Cola if they can manage it. Bada Big's in 3rd, CMP's in 4th, Keelan's in 5th, Matty's in 6th. Pyro's just coming out of turn 1 in 7th. So we're going to stay near the front. I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on the gap up front, because that gap's come down half a second in half a lap. CMP starting to chase down Bada Big. So we got 6T, Coca-Cola, Cosmopolitan and Skechers in the top 4. We then got Skechers P5 as well. We then got Cosmopolitan P6, Coca-Cola P7. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be advantage Skechers at the moment. Let's go a bit further forward. BX reacting to Zico's lap and out lap on the soft tyres. That gap's opened itself up just a little bit, but with 6 laps to go, a lot can change. BX is going to have a very, very strong defense to keep Zico behind him. We're going to stay on board with Zico actually as we come through the first sector, and that gap's gone from 1.1 down to 0.2 of a second basically. Zico has ripped into that gap viciously as we come up through the second sector, coming out to one of the most critical corners, as I keep saying, on the circuit. It's all about the exit speed here. They both get about the same exit speed. Old hards versus very, very, very new fresh softs. BX doesn't really defend. There's not much he can do in this situation, not from this far back, as they're both side by side. As we come down to the hairpin, BX slightly outbrakes Zico, but it doesn't matter. Zico's gone up the inside and has got the fresh set of soft tyres, and through goes Zico, opening up that gap already. So it's going to be Coca-Cola P1, 6T P2. BX was in a fantastic position, but wasn't quite able to make enough of a gap to Zico. Although going down that back straight, the gap's come down a little bit, but it's not going to matter because here come the corners, and there goes the soft tyres of Zico, who's already broken the slipstream in one corner. So Zico charge complete after a couple of laps. BX now down to P2. We got Bada Big in P3 and CMP in P4. We're going to stay here and watch these two for the next lap or two. So it's softs versus softs. The only difference here is going to be fuel load. Yeah, it basically was Abu Dhabi 21 minus the racing stewards and the safety car and the teammates. Minus basically half the format. Yes, it was Abu Dhabi 21, but we got a gloss over Abu Dhabi 21 before an argument erupts in the comment section in some where CMP closing up to the back of Bada Big. Is he going to make a lunge? No, he's a bit too far back this time around. Does square the corner up nicely though as he comes, fires it out, charges down the hill. The gap is definitely closing as we're at 2.2 of a second now, down to 1.5 tenths of a second. Bada Big defends the inside. CMP's now forced to go to the outside. CMP brakes a little bit later than Bada Big. Bada Big holds the apex nicely, holds the car nicely into the curb. CMP not able to do much. It's a bit further back. We've got Matty versus Keelan. So it's a Sketcher attack and Cosmopolitan defense at the front. And we've got a Cosmopolitan attack and a Sketcher's defense behind. Whilst these guys are taking a little bit of a breather on the rest, let's go through the rest of the grid. So Pyro not really catching up to the back of Matty. The gap has opened up a little bit, but he's opening up the gap to Scotty just a smidge. We then got Astro trying to go up the inside, has gone up the inside of Badonkadunk. So Astro now up to P9. Astro starting to make amends for the contact at the hairpin. So Astro P9, Badonkadunk P10. Goes back P11, and then you've got Bender in P12. The gap at the front, for those curious, is nearly 5 seconds. We're going to come back, we're going to stay here, we're going to look at Bada Big and CMP. CMP's got a very good run. Bada Big defends again to the inside. CMP doesn't follow, stays where he is, now switches to the inside as Bada Big comes out to open the corner. Bada Big goes very, very deep into turn 1. CMP goes up to the inside, so side by side as we come up the hill towards turn 2. CMP tries to shut the door, but Bada Big is still there as there's contact. There's quite a big bit of contact actually, as Bada Big's got himself a half-second penalty. CMP gets effectively ping-ponged off into the wall, so that might be looked at the stewards as well, but it's not going to matter too much because to CMP, because there's a half-second time penalty to Bada Big. Just behind him, Keelan, his teammate's starting to catch up to the back of him and is able to hold off Matty, who's in P6 at the moment. Everybody's tyres are looking about the same, apart from BX's. So we're going to stay on board with CMP. Penalty's just been served. Bada Big, is he going to be able to just about hold off, or is CMP going to send it? No, CMP's not going to send it, but it's going to be another attack going into turn 1, I should imagine. Keelan just about staying with him as well, so this could be a very, very good advantage to Skechers if they could both get P3 and 4. Bada Big defends straight away to the inside, but here comes CMP, who just flies past. I think Bada Big might have just let him pass. From the way CMP just blew past him. Bada Big instantly goes for the rear attack, hits the back left of CMP, through goes Keelan. He's going to get a double overtake going in through turn 1. Bada Big drops back down to P5, so it's CMP in P4, Bada Big in P5 and Matty in P6. Might have been a little bit of desperation trying to get back into that P3 position from Bada Big as he has a moment, lets his teammate straight through to not waste his teammate's time too much. So Bada Big's not having a great lap 36 at all. Now whilst these guys are fighting, VX is just opening up that gap just a little bit more. It was 4 seconds, now it's nearly 6 seconds. Can Keelan catch up to the back of BX? Can CMP catch up as well. Oh, as Bada Big goes off the track at the hairpin, because I just saw his name flick on the leaderboard. So Bada Big's not having a great lap at all. Might have outbraked himself. Luckily didn't take out anyone at the hairpin either. So let's go back and have a little look through the rest of the grid. Pyro in P7, obviously due to Bada Big's mistake at the hairpin, starting to catch up just a little bit. Scotty P8, Astro P9 starting to close in on the back of Scotty just a little bit, although I don't think it's going to be enough. It's 2 seconds an hour on lap 37 of 38. Let's go a bit further forward as these guys are grouping up a little bit more again. So, CMP under pressure from Matty as we come out onto the back straight. Matty does get a very, very good exit out onto the back straight. CMP just about has enough slipstream to his teammate ahead of Keelan, so this might protect him enough. It's going to make Matty's job a lot harder as he comes hurtling into the back of CMP, hits the back of CMP, so CMP's very much in the wars at the moment. Matty doesn't attack and doesn't go for the position, keeps it fair and has the sportsmanship to keep it fair. But crucially, CMP, oh no, just about has it, just about holds on. Keelan, I believe, might have just lifted a little bit just to let CMP back into the slipstream. Matty does have a little look. CMP defends, very, very late defence as well, as we come on to the final lap of this race. Let me just check where Zico is. There he is. I'm going to try and multitask. Let's see how this goes. So, final lap of this race. Moves are now very critical as we're coming into the tunnel, as Matty has a massive slide coming into the tunnel. Didn't lose any time though. Ooh, gets a little bit too much speed as we come over the hill through the left-hander. That might have helped him a little bit, but that might have cost him. Gets an okay run, but we're going to go a bit further forward, go and join Zico just for a moment. Zico comes charging down the hill for the 38th and final time in these GTR GT500 Nissans. He's had a phenomenal race, fantastic race done by Zico as Coca-Cola come up the hill for the final time and are going to take victory here at day one. We then got BX, who had a very, very good strategy, going to come over the line for P2. We're going to come back here as Keelan takes P3 for Sketchers. CMP, can CMP hold off for P4? He's just about going to hold off for P4 as Matty finishes P5. Bada Big is in P6. Pyro comes over the line. He's going to get P7 at the moment. Astro for P8. He does get Scotty in the end. Scotty now down in P9. Badabonk in 10th after trying to make a different strategy work. He nearly made it work, not quite this time around, as Gusbacks comes out the final corner for the last time, charges down the hill. We haven't really seen much of these two. These two have had a few moves, but we've not seen much of them. Up over the hill for the last time. Gusbanks gets 11, and then we've got Bendit, who comes over the line for P12. So there you have it. An 8.5 second gap from Zico to BX. We then got Keelan in third. CMP just about by not even a tenth of a second. Holds off Matty for P4. Matty's up P5. Bada Big's in P6. Pyro's in P7. Astro's in 8th. So I believe it might just about be advantage Coca-Cola at the moment. Then it's going to be Sneaker. Then it's going to be Cosmopolitan. And then I think bringing up the rear, might just about be bringing up the rear, might be 6T, but we'll have to have a look at the standings. But then we've got Scotty in P9, Badonkadonk in 10th, goes back in 11th, and Bendit in 12. So there you have it. There is day one of Champions Cup. I hope everyone has enjoyed. We will see you soon.